Hello, welcome to Brain Tester with Akash Gupta. Today we will in this module we will learn about the operating systems and graphic user interface role and functions. So next slide is what is an operating system that it is asking. So an operating system it is given an operating system is a software which performs all the basic tasks like which performs file management, memory management, process management, and handling input and output and controlling peripheral devices. What are the peripheral devices? See, such as it is given in red highlighted words, disk drives and printers. Apart from this, it also acts as an interface between the users and the hardware. These are the definitions of operating system. Now popular operating systems. So we will learn about the popular operating systems. So some popular operating systems are Linux, Windows OS X, VMS OS 400, AIX, Z OS, etc. and etc. many more there. So next one is for large systems, the operating system has an even greater responsibilities. Okay, now greater responsibilities and power like what? Graphical. It makes sure that the different programs and user running at the same time. Now need for an operating system. What is the need for an operating system in a computer? Suppose there the big example is giving to understand you, to make you understand. Suppose you go to school by a bus and there are the other students along with you in the bus who go to the school. The driver takes the bus from the bus stop to the school. Again, while returning home from the school, the driver drives you back to your stops where you just start from them. You can imagine the physical component in the bus. The physical component in the bus are C. What do you imagine? You can imagine the physical component which I have underlined now of the bus. Example, the engine, the seat, the bus body. The bus body is the covering of the bus, means which is the cover. Next slide. Now what do you understand with this example? This is the question I want to think. Okay, as the hardware and the passenger means the student of the bus who are to be dropped to school, as the application software as the student use the bus to go to the different places from school to your bus stops. But the hardware and the application software are not enough for the bus to function properly. So what it needs the bus driver also who controls the bus engines. So in the computer the user will come and drives it to school while stopping at different places to pick up students according to a specific stop, therefore act as an operating system. These are the values. Now next is functions of an operating system. We will learn about the functions and its type. Now there are the 8 types in the function of an operating system. What are they? The first one is memory management. See, which I will memory management. Second one is file management, security and error detections, provides and vagara process management. Okay, they are the 8 items. Booting, device management, they are the 8 items. Okay, next one is memory management. We will learn one by one every functions and its types. Okay, memory management. A program should be loaded in the main memory to be executed. What should be executed? For memory management, operating system does the following task. What the task that they do? There are the 3 bullets point. We will read it. Keep tracks of primary memory. Examples giving what part of it are in the use by which process and what process which process are not in use. So it decides when and for how much time which process it will get a memory. Allocates the memory when a process requests into to do. So allocates the memory when a process longer needs to has been terminated. So these are the value which is given in the points. These all are in the group of memory management. Now next is processor management. What is the processor management? The OS decides. What is the OS? What is an OS? OS is an operating system. The OS device decides which process gets the processor when and for how much time. This function is called process scheduling. All the process is called the process scheduling. An operating system does the following activities for processor management. What it do? what it do means what its processor management do. It keeps tracks of processor and the status of process. The program responsible for tasks is known as traffic controller. This see I marked 3 points. These 3 points, I mean 2 points, allocates a process CPU to a process, allocates a process when a process is no longer. Next is device management. The OS manage device communications via their respective drivers. It does the following activities. Which following activities it do? Keep tracks of all devices. Program responsible for this task is known as input output controller device. What input output controller device? It is not written device, but we can write it devices. See, the input output means IO, it's given in a short form, and controller DEVICES devices. Okay, devices. Now it decides when and for how much time which process gets the device, allocates the device in an efficient way. Allocates the device in an efficient way. Now allocates device when not in use also. File management. A file system is normally organized into directories for easy navigations and uses. These directories may contain file and other directories. The following activities are evolved during file management. It handles the organizations and tracking of files and directories saved or retrieved from the secondary. These are the points. These are the 3 points. Okay, and it's in the storage device. Next one is see the second point. It allows the user to perform such a task. See the file and directories, remaining copy, removing, deleting files. These are location, users, status, etc. It is come to a file management. These all come to file management. Next one is next slide. Okay, this security. What do you mean by security? Security in the computer. See, this mean the you have password, you attend password just such as see the pattern, pin code, alphabets, this all. Okay, now read the sentence. By mean of password and similar other techniques. By mean of passwords and similar other techniques, the OS means the operating system prevents unauthorized access to program and data. Means unusual data. Unusual data is access to program and data. Okay, this is all. Now next slide is error deleting aids. What's error deleting aids? Error deleting aids means the OS means operating systems is also responsible for what? It's also responsible for detecting errors, means spelling corrections, and providing aids to remove it. Okay. Next is coordinations between other software and the user. The OS, see the highlighted words, an operating system is responsible to provide a coordinations between other software packages installed in the computer system and the users. In words, it acts as an interface between the system, between the user and the computer system. These all are happening in the coordination between the software and the users. With an interface between the users and the computer, it is related to users and the computer computer system. Next slide. Booting the computer. What is the booting the computer? Many of the seeing in the display that sometimes voltage problem means it says when you on the computer it says reboot your system. For this only we will learn about booting. Refers to the process of powering of a computer on a computer and getting into the operating systems. During the boot process, these all are the main points. See, booting refers to the process of powering on a computer and getting into the operating system. Please learn it. Okay, during the boot process the computer will perform a self-diagnosis, also known as post. Post means power on self-test. If you see self-diagnosis and power on self-test, if you study by self you learn it. So it also detects this problem by self only. That's called post. And load necessary drivers and a program that helps the computer and devices communicate with the RAM. The device will communicate to the RAM. A cold something is given in when you turn on a computer that has been Okay, boot is when you turn on the computer, it automatically starts. Okay, types of operating system. Now here, types of operating system. What are the types? The most widely used operating system are batch processing system, multi-processing programming batch system, multiprocessor systems, distributed operating system, real-time operating system. These all are came to here. Okay, in the types of an operating, these are the types. Okay, from 1 to 5, these all are the types. Now next slide is, this all come to operating system. Now batch processing system, we will learn about one by one. See, in a batch processing system, similar types of jobs, jobs or programs are grouped where together and submitted to the CPU for processing. Processor, who is the processor here? CPU. Processor automatically process each of the batch job without an interventions from the end users. There is no direct interactions between the users and the computer. Now these types of OS were used during the initial year, means the starting year of a computer applications. Okay, examples of batch processing system. What is an example? Here, credit card and payroll system, these are given. Now credit card companies process billing as a batch process of the items credited by the customer. Okay, each items purchased by the credit card is collected as an input and the output month or billing cycle. The bill is generated. So this bill is generated. Now payroll system. What is a payroll system? Let's learn it. Okay, where the payroll system generates the salary for the employee in the companies. Okay, in the companies, for what? For the employees of the factories, companies, to give the salary with the help of payroll system. With the help of payroll system, it provides salary to the employee of the company. Next is multiprogramming batch systems. Now in a multiprogramming batch system, we will learn about in a multiprogramming system, there are one or more programs loaded in many memory which are ready to execute. Operating system picks and begins to execute one program from memory, so only one program at a time is able to get the CPU for executing its instructions, while all the others wait for the jobs needs to the wait for an input output operations. The operations interrupts the and controls to one of the process controls and in the main memory programs that are to be executed. The next one is time sharing or multitasking system. What is a time sharing and what is a multitasking system? We will learn about okay. In time sharing systems, there are the many users that use the resources like the CPU and memory of the same systems. Each user feels that they are exclusively owning the CPU, and the CPU time is divided among all the users in a scheduled way. The operating system's responsibility is to allocate this timing to each users has utilized CPU for the time the computer is passed another task user. This task allocates very small and the switching happens very frequently. This gives an impression to each users that they are exclusively of the system. This interval of the time is called time slice. Next slide is about time sharing or the multitasking. We will learn about that, about time sharing and multitasking about it. Okay, time sharing systems are actually an extension of multiprogramming system. In time sharing system, the objective is to minimize the response time. It's used to minimize the objective. This objective means the problem. Objective to minimize the response time, while in a multiprogramming the objective is maximize the CPU usage. Now multiprocessor system. Multiprocessing is the use of two or more central processing unit CPUs within a single computer system. The term also refers to the ability of a system to support more than one processor, or the ability of systems to support more than one processor, or the ability to allocate them in the between them. Now more than the CC, which I underline in the red color. Next, about multiprocessor. As we all know that there are the processor. See, about it we will tell. As we all know that the processor inside the computer, the processor or the name indicates have the ability to support more tasks one processor at the same time. The processors are organized the parallel form, and hence a large number of the executions can be pouched at the same time. Such an example is given is what example multiprocessing helps to repeating the same instructions a number of or times at a specific interval. Now next is distributed operating system. Now a distributed system consists of many independent computer systems connected together via network communication, LAN, WAN, internet. The operating systems on a distributed system manages the system shared resources used by a multiple process scheduling activity. How processes are allocated on the available processor, the communications and then reasynchronizations between the running processor, locus and micros. See, the locus and the micros are the best example these of the two distributors in the OS, means the operating system. Now the real-time operating system. What is a real-time operating system? The real-time system is defined as a data processing systems to process the data at the same instance as it's come in without any delay. This data at the same instance as it's come in without any delay. The time interval required to process and response to input is very small. For example, let's give an example. A measurement from a petroleum refinery indicates that the temperature is getting too high and might low, and for immediate attentions to avoid any explosions. About real-time operating system. The real-time systems are used in the environments. Okay, about the real-time systems are used in the environments where a large number of events, generally external to the computer system, is required to be accepted and is to be processed in the form of quick response. Example of real-time is what are the OS, means operating system, VS was, Unix, ECOS, and RT Linux. Okay, next slide. Yeah, working of single and multi-users in OS. By now we will study about that. By now, what is given? By now you must have to spin and computer work in a various way depending upon hardware and the software requirement. Works on the basics of people that works on a system OS has been categorized as a single user OS and the multi-user OS. This all came to okay. Next is single user operating system. In that in real time, about real time, it's given two types. First is single user operating system. We will learn about a single user operating system is designed for an user to effective use of the computer at a time. MS-DOS and FreeDOS are the common example of single user operating system. Through both have become obsolete now. Okay, multi-user operating system. What is a multi-user operating system? The type of operating system allows the multiple users to program at the same time on a single computer system. Now, what are that? Unix, Linux, Windows are the common example of multi-user operating system. Next is single user, multi-user, and single user and multi-user. A user interface UI is a medium by the which the user and the computer system interact by the use of input device and the software. The UI includes the aesthetic appearance of the device response time and the content that is presented to the user. The user interface evolved the introductions. Okay, next is definitions, type, attribute, and examples. See, there is given definitions, types, examples. These all are given. You can pause the video and see carefully. this you can pause the video and single user multi-user about it can. Okay, next slide is what is an user interface. So what is an interface is asking question. A user interface is a medium by which the user and the computer system interact by the use input device and the software. The UI includes the aesthetic appearance of the device, response time, and the content that is presented to the user. The user interface evolved with the interactions of the commands user interface UI, which looks like a blank display screen with a line for user input. User use a keyboard and set of commands to exchange of informations within a together. Further evolutions led to the development of graphic user interface, means the GUI. Now next slide is we can do see all. Okay, now characters user interface. Now character user interface UI is also known as the command line interface, the command CLI, or the command user interface, means the CUI. See here, yeah, it is a medium of interactions between the users and the system via the commands that you type on the keyboard. You can type multi-text to give commands to the computer. These commands are typed in an MS-DOS or command prompt. They are the images or the graphics on the screen. See, you can see on the screen that written here. Now we can talk about it. Okay, in the CUI you normally interact with see about it. Yeah, in CUI you normally interact with the operating system through a set of commands. For example, the DOS operating system contains commands such as the copy and rename. Copy and rename, which I have underlined. Yeah, for copying files and changing the names of the files respectively, the commands are accepted and executed by the part of the operating system is called the command processor and the command line interpreter. Next slide is see the pictures. See this, you can pause a video and you can do it. Slide is disadvantage of CUI. What are the disadvantage? User needs to learn complex commands, and if you don't know the commands you won't know what features are there. Not very good for beginners. Okay, now graphical user interface. The graphical user interface allow you to enter the commands by pointing and clicking at the object that appears on the screen, on your screen. Okay, now see here, start is all there. Next slide is about graphical user interface. What about we can learn is the first interactive user interface were not graphical. They were text and keywords oriented and usually consists of commands. To be remembered, the command interact the device operating system is an example of typical user computer interface between the GUIs arrive. Next one is the components. The component of GUI. What are the components? Pointer, pointing device, icon, desktop, window, Linux, what are they? Okay, now these all are the components of GUI. Next one is Mac OS X. What are the Mac OS X? Mac OS X is a line of operating systems created by Apple. It becomes the Mac operating system created by Apple. Apple is a company which Apple iPhone you have heard. Okay, it which I have underline it. Okay, around it. Okay, it comes preloaded on all new Macintosh computer or Macs. All of the recent versions are known as OS X. Other versions are captions in 2015, Yosemite in 2014, Mountain Lion 2012, and Lion in 2011. These all are. See the picture. Thank you very much. Please like, subscribe, press bell icon. Thank you very much.